by Colonial Sports Center. Nick Biseglia joins the show fresh up in his game-winning field goal on Saturday. RMU men's soccer heads back to the postseason for the first time since 2017. And a supernova has occurred as changes are afoot for RMU volleyball. You won't want to miss it here on CST.
Welcome to But I'm not by myself. We have great interviews today with Tyler Galler sitting down with Nick Biseglia, Sam Dutch with a soccer interview, Ethan Morrison with a basketball discussion, and we're going to bump set and spike it over for a volleyball discussion with Bethany Nunn and Michael Deemer. Tonight, I'm Colby Sherwin along with you. Now, we have some breaking news out for the volleyball team. Starr has been fired. He's out as the head coach. You see here his career record, 169 and 191. He's the all-time winningest coach in RMU volleyball history, but he's 6-24 with a 200 win percentage in the Horizon League, and he's been winless since October 8th against Youngstown State, who they take on Friday. Some career highs. They were 2015 NEC tournament champs, and in 2019, the NEC regular season champs. He was also the 2019 NEC Coach of the Year. We have more volleyball later in the show, as I said, but after falling to Gardner Webb, the football team was looking to pirate a win against the Hampton Pirates. Were they able to do so? Let's take a look. George Martin in the gun here at Joe Wallen Stadium throws a short 3-yard pass to DeAndre Hicks for a touchdown. 7-0 Colonials. There it is again. We're showing you Hicks celebrating with his teammates. Now, let's pick it up second quarter, 10-7. Jet Duffy takes the snap. He's going to turn on the Jets, of course, and he takes it into the end zone, 14-7. Pirates take the lead. We head to the second half now. Duffy's going to roll out, and watch this play here by Jet Duffy. He had quite the game here. Jet Duffy making everybody miss. Whoop! He's going to head into the end zone. Pirates extend their lead 28-13. Here's another look for you. There he goes again, making everybody miss. Jet Duffy, what a game for him. Now we head later in the game. Martin hands the handoff to Elijah Jackson. He's going to put his head down and rumble into the end zone like a bullet train. Touchdown. Colonials make it 28-20. Now, a touchdown here keeps the game close, 28-27. Duffy, guess what? He's going to score again. Jet Duffy, what a game here. 35-27. That is his fifth touchdown. And watch this. George Martin to Elijah Jackson. What a drive for the Colonials. Touchdown, they'll tie it game up with a 2-point conversion to Mason Miller. Here's the pass to Jackson again. They got a stop on defense. Had a perfect game-winning drive. Set up Nick Biseglia to hit a game-winning field goal. Colonials complete the comeback 38-35. Look at Jet Duffy. 5 touchdowns. Colonials move to third place in the conference. Now let's take a look at the stats from the game. As I said, the score is 38-35. Rushing yards was actually closer than it looked like, 194 to 139. Passing yards, George Martin took care of it, 361 to 287. Total yards were 500 and 481. Turnovers were close, but look at that. Jet Duffy, 5 rushing touchdowns, and Nick Biseglia went 3 for 3 on the day. Speaking of him, Tyler Gallo has an interview with him. Tyler, what do you got for us?
Thank you, Colby, and I'm here with RMU football kicker Nick Biseglia. Nick, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so fresh off of, Big South Player of the Week, Special Teams Player of the Week, I mean, how special was that honor, especially being the first in RMU, is in their time in the Big South to get that?
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to get that honor, no matter where you're at, and just because it was the first in the Big South, it does make it that much more special. So it's always good to get that too.
Right, and so we talked about your game-winning kick. I mean, been in the news all week. So, when you're getting in the mindset to hit one like that, because you've hit a couple here, I mean, how do you block out the noise? How do you just set up for that moment?
I this is what I tell myself every kick. I just tell myself, all right, let's go out there. We're just gonna go 1 for 1. We're not gonna worry about what's happened in the past. We're not gonna worry about anything after this. We're just gonna worry about going 1 for 1 on this kick.
Yeah, definitely a good mindset to have, especially in those moments. So, guys got Kennesaw State this weekend. There's been some talk about it, but how are you guys prepping for this game? How difficult is it to prep for a team that's ranked like them?
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult no matter who you're playing. But especially for them, they're a triple option offense. So practice has looked a little differently this week. We've been taking things a little slower, trying to be a little more disciplined, especially defensively. So, yeah, it's very difficult to get ready for this team, but we're getting ready. We want to keep winning at the Joe.
Yeah, so your holder, George Souders, obviously the punter of the team as well. How important is it to have a good relationship with the guys you're going to be going into battle with pretty much every game?
Oh, it's incredibly important, I mean, I'm putting 100% of my trust into him that he's going to do his job out there. So, I mean, super important that we're, have that good relationship. And I mean, luckily it is enough that we do have that good of a relationship. I'm sort of a more calm person, and he sort of provides that contrast to me that he's more of that wild person, sort of that nutty kind of person. But, it's always good to have that.
Yeah, speaking of quirks, in the spirit of Movember, he's got some pretty ridiculous facial hair. I know you've got some yourself, but I mean, how great is it? How actually great is it?
It's something else, I'll tell you that much. It's nice and thick, nice and full. He gets compliments everywhere he goes, no matter where we're at. But I mean, it's something I envy, to be honest.
All right, so you've had 3 game-winning kicks in your career. Is there one that stands out over the rest? I mean, this one is your first in the Big South, and then you move back to one big one against Dayton, and then one against St. Francis. Which one for you is the most important, do you think?
For me, I would definitely say the St. Francis one. Not only because, personally it was a walk-off, so, we didn't have to play any more football after it, but, looking how the rest of that season turned out and really how much of a positive that game was, that we did win that game and really set us up to have that good of a season back in 2019.
Yeah, and so you guys have 3 games left, and you're on your last 3 games, obviously, as a graduate. So, I mean, what are you looking to just prepare for, or what are you looking forward to for the remainder of the season?
Just enjoying it, man. I'm that type of person that I always try to live in the moment. I always just try to be where I'm at, and especially when you're playing college football at this level, there's all the pageantry, all the excitement with it. So really, just being in it, being in the present, and just enjoying all of it really is what I'm looking forward to.
Right. And so I got to ask though, what's the longest kick you've hit in your career? Do you think?
In my career, see, game-wise, I'm not that. I haven't hit that many deep ones because, I mean, here it's only like 43, but I mean, in practice, I've sometimes stepped out to, deep 50s even. I think the longest one I hit at practice just off of sticks was probably 61.
Didn't come close to that, but one last thing I guess I got to go with, how do you guys think you stack up against Kennesaw State this weekend?
I think we'll be good. You just have to stop the triple option. That's really, that's their game. And even last week when they played Gardner Webb last week, they've shown that passing threat. That if they do struggle with their bread and butter, they can go to the air out of the triple option. So, just being really disciplined all around is going to be really important for us to get the win. And that's what really we've been preaching this week. So I think it'll be a good matchup.
Yeah, definitely should be a special one, and we're looking forward to it. Well, Nick, thank you so much for sitting down with me tonight, and thank you for kicking it with me, I guess. We'll kick it with some soccer when we come back here on Colonial Sports Center.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars.
Wow.
But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You can say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You can chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Thanks for kicking it with me. Speaking of kicking, let's look at some soccer games. After the men's soccer team tied with Detroit Mercy, they were looking to plunge the Phoenix. Were they able to? Let's take a look. And unfortunately, no, they fell 3-2. Josh Johansson got a goal at the 55th minute. Ethan Horde got 2 goals at the 82nd minute and the 90th minute, cutting it close there. Charlie Lawrence got his first goal of the season at the 4th minute, and Colton Spence got his first goal at the 88th minute. The soccer team then took on IUPUI. Let's take a look at that one as well. And there's the score of the IUPUI game. The Colonials won 1-0 against the Jaguars. Brian Akongo got 1 goal at the 58th minute. Guess what? The Colonials clinched a playoff spot with that win. Quinn McClellan got 4 saves, and Matthew Sakar got 2 shots on goals in that one as well. So let's take a look at the season recap of the men's soccer team as they clinched a playoff spot in this season. For the first time since 2017, the men's soccer team had a 5-10-1 record, conference record of 4-5-1, goals for at about 1 a game, goals against about near 2. They were shooting about 8 goals a game, a shooting percentage of near 14. Brian Akongo had a great year with 4 goals, 5 assists, and 13 points. He was a freshman. First-year freshman, Ben Dillon had 3 goals, 9 points, about 1.2 shots a game. Ethan Romano had 2 goals, 4 points, 50% shooting percentage. And that's pretty much how the season went for the Colonials as they clinched their first playoff spot since 2017. Now, speaking of that, let's take a look at the soccer standings. You see Oakland went 8-1-1. They went 10-6-2 overall. Cleveland State got 24 points. Milwaukee 19. UIC had 18. Troy Mercy had 15. And Robert Morris had 13. But if you take a look, they tied with Wright State. Everything was the same. 4-5-1 for both. Both went 5-10-1. But what got the Colonials into the playoffs is they beat Wright State 2-1. Now, let's take a look at the playoff bracket as we were talking about the playoffs for the Colonials. And the Colonials will take on the 3-seed Milwaukee Panthers. Then UIC will take on Detroit Mercy. The lowest remaining seed will take on Oakland. The highest remaining seed will take on Cleveland State. Now let's take a look at the women's season. And they went 6-10-3 with a conference record of 2-6-3, about 1.21 goals for, 1.73 goals against. They're shooting about 15 shots per game with an 8.1 shooting percentage. Haley Finale had a good freshman year with 6 goals, 6 assists, and 18 points. Kairu Hayashi had 3 goals, 4 assists, and 10 points. Kayla Valmesia had 3 goals, 1 assist, and 7 points as well. Now let's take a look at the Women's Horizon League standings, and the Colonials did not have a great year, but Milwaukee had a great soccer season for both men's and women's with 33 points this year, an 11-0 conference record, 16-1 overall. Oakland had 28 points, Northern Kentucky 21, Green Bay 17, Cleveland State 16, Purdue Fort Wayne 14, and then near the bottom, almost in last place, is the Robert Morris Colonials with 9 points, 2-6-3, and a 6-10-3 overall record. Now we're going to send it over to Sam Dutch, who was sitting down with Calvin Ramirez of the men's soccer team after they clinched their first playoff spot since 2017. Sam, take it away.
Thanks, Colby. I am sitting down with RMU men's soccer defender Calvin Ramirez. Calvin, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off with, first of all, how did it feel to clinch that playoff spot?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's great that we're being rewarded for all the hard work we're putting in. So to clinch this playoff spot was really huge for us because we have been putting in a lot of work. And it's great to be rewarded for it.
Yeah, it's been a great season this season. As opposed to kind of last season where you only had kind of like that 1 goal scored, 1 win. Now that you made it into the playoffs and had such success this season, what would you say was the team's like secret for success?
Hard work. I mean, we brought a lot of new guys in, and they bought into the program, put all the work in. All the guys that came back put all the work in as well, and we had a lot of goals and we strive for them, and we just kept putting in work despite our history. We were ranked second to last preseason. We didn't care. We just put in the work and kept going forward.
So speaking of, all those guys and everything that came in, so last year you were named as a freshman the team MVP. So congratulations on that. Who would you give it to, this year?
I think I would give it to Brian Akongo. He's had a great year this year, and I think he deserves it the most as a freshman especially. He's put in a great performance all year, game in, game out, even if he doesn't get the stats. He does the hard work, the dirty work sometimes that people don't see. It's great in training. I think I would give it to him if I would decide.
All right, that's a pretty good choice. So the team lost to Milwaukee earlier in the season 2-1, but obviously, beat them. So what did you learn in that game that you think you can carry in to try to really beat them in your game on Sunday?
Oh, well, they're a great team. I think that with playoffs now, it's completely different. I think it's a new season now, so I think we can definitely go in. I think the guys are all confident that we can go in and beat them now. But obviously they're a great team, previous champs for a reason, so we got to put in the work. We got to go look at our previous game, see what went wrong, see what we got to fix, execute our game plan, see what's going forward for us.
That sounds good. So speaking of traveling, we were talking about you're traveling tomorrow, getting on a plane. So have you flown before? Are you used to going far distances to play some games?
Yeah, I've flown a couple times for games especially, yeah. But not really for a 3-day trip just for one game. But it's going to be a good trip for all of us, good learning experience, and hopefully we get what we want.
Yeah, so what would you say was like the furthest you've ever traveled for a game?
For a game, it was probably last year in Milwaukee on the bus, 11 hours. It's probably the furthest, so again, it's going to be another far trip for us.
So I have to ask, if you're on the bus for 11 hours, what's your go-to road trip snack?
Road trips, it has to be fruit snacks.
Fruit snack, nice.
Fruit snacks.
What kind? Like what brand is your go-to?
Any brand, especially the ones, I don't know the brand name, the ones with the little gushers.
Fruit Gushers.
Fruit Gushers.
That's a good choice.
Those are the best ones.
That's a good choice. So speaking of your team MVP, you were also named to the Horizon League academic team this season, so pretty impressive there. So would you say it's difficult to balance like school and sports? Like how do you stay in a good, mindset and all that?
Yeah, it is difficult to stay focused on two things, balancing everything, but it's great to have that skill. Life's all about balancing, so to learn this skill in college and balance it out now is important. I think our team's pretty well. We did have the highest GPA last year in the Horizon League, so our team does pretty well to stay disciplined in the classroom and on the pitch. Outside of the pitch, we try and do everything we can right. It's a big thing, big part of the culture we're trying to build together.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much, Kelvin, for coming on, and best of luck at Milwaukee on Sunday.
Thank you.
Of course. When we come back, we will be spiking and setting with the volleyball, so stay tuned right here on CSC.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. We're going to bump set and spike it for some volleyball. But before we get into the volleyball discussion and more about the Dale Starr firing, let's look at what the team did before they let him go. They took on the IUPUI Jaguars. Let's take a look at the score of that one. And the Colonials fell 3-1, 25-23. The first set was a little close. 25-16, the second set got away. 25-20, the Colonials took that one. Then 25-21, the Colonials fell. Annie Monaco had 15 kills and 7 points. Emma Granger, the queen of the court, had 2 aces and 13.5 points. Brenna Brown had 19 kills, 21 points. And Brooke Phillips had 45 assists and 3 aces. Now, the Colonials were also looking to mash the Mastodons. Were they able? Let's take a look at that one. And unfortunately, no, once again, they fell 3-1. They were really liking that score. 25-20, and then 25-20 again, and then both went to the Mastodons, and 25-20 went to the Colonials, and 25-11 got blown out in the final set. Once again, the Queen, Emma Granger, had 11 kills and 14 points. Alyssa Hada had 11 kills and 13 points. Madeline Worcester had 17.5 points, and Katie Crow had 16.5 points and 9 digs. Now, continuing with volleyball, I'm joined with Michael Deemer and Bethany Nonnen. Guys, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
All right, and now the news about Dale Starr broke. What were your thoughts on that?
I was kind of surprised, but honestly not surprised at the same time. He was the 2019 NEC Coach of the Year, but ever since he joined the Horizon League, it's really not been a really big strong for him. It's only been 6-24 in the conference, and obviously he's lost 8 in a row this year. I mean, I think it's also like a time for a new era for the RMU volleyball. I mean, RMU volleyball has been struggling lately. The seniors are almost about to graduate, so yeah, I think it's kind of an end of an era.
Now, Bethany, what are your thoughts? Was it the right move to fire Daryl Starr?
See, coaches got to go, but like I don't think he should have went out this early, especially when their season was like almost done, which is actually kind of devastating that they let him go this soon. But again, with like what Michael said, you know, they haven't been really doing that well. I mean, they're like 9 and like 17. That's not good.
Now, what are your predictions for next year? Bethany, do you want to start with that one?
Sure. My predictions for next year, the team is going to definitely have to step up because there is a lot of younger players on that team. So and they've been doing a lot, have been improving a lot. So I think if they just like continue what they're doing right now, I feel like they're gonna get better. There's gonna be a lot of improvements, and with a new coaching staff or whatever their plan is going to be, they might have a better season.
Michael, same question to you.
I don't think they'll be very successful in the beginning. Obviously, a lot of graduate students and a lot of seniors graduating this year. And yeah, a lot of younger players need to step up, so I don't think it will be an immediate success, but I think in the long run it'll be pretty successful later on.
Now, you mentioned those young players, Bethany and Michael, you both did. Who will be the next star of the RMU volleyball team? Bethany, you start.
Abby Ryan, sophomore, aka your classmate, will be the new star of the volleyball team. Reasons why. She was ranked second on the team for kills, which she has 255. She's third in points, and she's fifth in digs. And she began her career with 12 kills and 3 digs at Oakland, and she started 12 out of the 15 matches she played in, appearing in 47 total sets, this is just her freshman year. That's pretty big. She provided 11 kills on a 1.194 hitting % with a sole block at Peru Fort Wayne, and she tallied 10 kills and 6 digs at Peru Fort Wayne. So I definitely think she will be the star for next year.
And Michael, same question for you. Who is the next star for this team?
I'm going to go with a freshman and Ashley Wallen. She played in 24 of the 26 matches this year. She led the team with an overwhelming 575 assists. That's by far the most in the entire team, with 6 assists a set. She served very well too, 36 aces, and the assists, like I said, that career high, which is 39 now, that'll get broken a lot in the next 3 years. So I think she'll be the star to watch for the Colonials this future.
Michael and Bethany, thank you guys for joining me. But when we come back, we're going to stick to the hardwood as we have a basketball discussion for you. Stay with us on Colonial Sports Center.
I don't remember how it started.
What's it at?
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college. So I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. As I said, we're going to hit the hardwood here with some basketball. Tyler Gallo and Ethan Morrison sat down with Tristan Freeman of Busing Brackets to discuss RMU's basketball season coming up. Let's see what they got for us.
I think there's a clear divide between the top half and the bottom half of the Horizon League. You have teams like Cleveland State, Wright State, Detroit, Milwaukee. They're the consensus top 4 or 5 teams. But anywhere else, besides the preseason polls, you have other media outlets doing their polls at Horizon League. Anywhere between, if you exclude Green Bay and IUPUI, who's the clear bottom 2, 10 through 7 is a complete crapshoot.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have teams, Robert Morris, they bring in a ton of new talent and clear upgrade the roster, but how good are they going to be? I think there's going to be some questions they'll have to answer about, can they compete in Horizon League on a consistent basis? I think them and Purdue Fort Wayne as well, who's in a similar boat. It's hard to tell what this roster is going to do. There's a lot of trust in Coach Andy Toole. I think he has a lot of respect from national media. But, again, with the clear divide, it's hard to tell what RMU is going to do until we see his pieces come together on the court.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And, I thought the same thing when I was going through and previewing these teams, and I'm still going through, the final 3 next week. But when I was looking at it, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like you were saying, 10 through 7, there's not much. It couldn't be decided by, a couple of games here and there, a couple of shots. And, like we said, I mean, when you look at this team, they've added so much talent. It's all about, are they going to gel together? Now, only 4 players have returned from last year's squad. You got now 10 new faces, I think, that have all came in here, all from different areas of the country, all from different schools, different levels. So Tristan, I want to start off with you. I mean, what are your thoughts on the talent that they added? I mean, we saw last year you got a little bit of a smaller lineup. I mean, looks like what they competed with in the NEC, and now this year compared to this and last year. I mean, what are the differences that you've seen, on how Andy Toole, built up his roster?
Yeah, I think Coach Toole said himself multiple outlets that they were just way too small for Horizon League. I saw someone credit to 3-man weave for this one. I saw from they had one of the 20 smallest rosters in the country. You can get away with that in the Northeast, but in Horizon League that has a ton of size up and down. You could tell how that played out last season. It was just miserable for them. There's 2 sides for all the newcomers. You have the guards that has proven production. Michael Green was one of the top players in the Northeast, a 16-point-per-game scorer. Rasheem Dunn was a 2-year starter at St. John's, so you know what they can do. In the front court, to join Khalil Spears, there's just a lot of potential. A lot of these guys average about 4 or 5 points at the previous spots, a lot of size, a lot of toughness, a lot of depth now this year, but which among them is going to stand out and become the clear go-to guys in the front court? That's going to answer a lot of questions, because you can have as much size as possible, but if these guys are only averaging 4 or 5 points a game in Horizon League and are struggling defensively, then it doesn't matter much.
Thank you, Ethan, Tyler, and Tristan. Now, if you want to see more videos like that and so much more, check out Colonial Sports Network. The writers and videographers over there have you covered for everything RMU sports, from Joe Wallen Stadium for the football team, the Event Center as the volleyball team wraps up their season, and the basketball teams tip off their season, and the NAC for the soccer teams. It's all there for you on colonialsportsnetwork.com or on Twitter at RMU_CSN. Now, going back to that, Ethan and the guys were talking about the basketball team. Very excited for the season, year 2 in the Horizon League. Got one guy I'm looking forward to seeing is Khalil Spears, see what he's got going on there. But also on Saturday, the football team's taking on Kennesaw State, number 8 in the country, and they're undefeated in conference play. Very excited to see if George Martin and the if the RMU is undefeated at home. Very excited to see if the offense can get it going, if George Martin can let George cook, or if they're going to go with Elijah Jackson, and if the defense can tighten up that tackling. Didn't have a great game last time. See what they got in that one. It's going to be a very, very interesting game to watch as well. And the soccer team as they take on Milwaukee for their playoffs. A lot of sports going on for you here on the RMU campus, and we're going to keep you updated no matter what happens here on Colonial Sports Network and CSN. Thank you for joining us today. For Tyler Gallo, Ethan Morrison, Bethany Nunn, Michael Deemer, I'm Colby Sherwin. Thank you for watching Colonial Sports Network here on RMU TV.